Well, hello everybody, welcome back to the Auto Bravado channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at this 2009 Dodge Charger SXT. Let's get into the review. Well, this is the Dodge Charger SXT. It's Dodge's attempt at creating an all-new muscle car platform, and I'll tell you, 10 years later, they still sell like hotcakes. This generation of the Charger was Dodge's attempt at getting back in on the long-forgotten muscle car niche of the early 1960s and 70s, as retro muscle cars were becoming a hot new thing in the early 2000s. The Charger competed with other four-door sedans like the Pontiac G8, as well as the high-performance Ford Taurus show of the time, and I'll tell you, it just fit right in there with all the other contenders. Just look at those aggressive headlights, those bulging rear haunches, and even that sloping roofline. It looks to me as if Dodge really tried to get the message across, this is a muscle car. Upon release in 2006, Dodge sold an estimated 114,000 units across the entire Charger line, which really leads you to believe that their attempts were successful. Well, this may not be the famous SRT model or the base V8 RT, but the SXT was meant for the person who wanted the muscle car look without bothering what's under the hood. So one thing I found really interesting, Dodge states that this SXT model should be running 215/65 R17 tires. However, they're running 225/65 R17s, which leads to me to believe that these are the RT rims off of the Dodge Charger RT. Alright, so now we're inside the interior of the Dodge Charger, and one thing I'll point out right away is that most automotive enthusiasts and journalists alike refer to these cars as parts bin, and what they refer to is the fact that Chrysler uses the same switchgear, knobs, dials, window controls across all of their platforms. What this does is create a cost efficiency system where they don't have to create new switchgear, parts, dials for other models. Instead, they just use them, it's the same all over each model. Just right off the bat, interior quality is a bit of a miss. Everything in here is just hard plastics. The only thing that really redeems this interior is the seats. They're just cloth, but man, they're really comfy. You know, really supportive. You know, it's like a captain's chair, really. They're just, you know, sit back, cruise. That's what this car was made for. It's really all about the looks. To the center control stack, and one thing I really like about it is it's super simple, it's super functional. Yes, the quality of the buttons, the knobs, the dials may not be the best, but honestly, in a car at this price point, I don't think it matters. You know, when interior quality is required, you know, go for something, you know, like the RT with, you know, leather interior, but nonetheless. Alright, now moving back to the steering wheel, and you could say it's a driver-focused steering wheel, but Dodge has really cheaped out on this steering wheel, and one thing that, you know, might be a hit or miss for most people is there's no, you know, infotainment selection on here, and actually Toyota offers climate control adjustability on here, but you know, it's really a sparse interior, but at this price point, you know, the people buying this car, it really doesn't matter. So another thing I wanted to point out in regards to the transmission. Dodge at one point in 2006 as well as 2007 did offer a 5-speed manual transmission for the Charger. However, very few people opted for that in this car because there wasn't just that much demand. So in regard to creature comforts, you do have 2 cup holders up here, as well as a little storage cubby for, say, coins, you know, business cards, stuff like that, and as well as up here. But you do have cigarette lighter adapter capability up here as well as a rather large center console, which is nice for storing coins as well. But other than that, it's really functional. It works very well. So I really wanted to check out the door panel, and one thing I really liked is that Dodge has integrated the grab handle to open the door into the armrest, which I think is something that a lot of car manufacturers should be doing instead of, you know, placing a bulky handle in the way of the armrest where you can really just lay your arm and relax. I think it's a really cool thing that they've done here. Another thing I wanted to point out is the visibility. It really does go both ways. Front visibility out the windshield is fairly excellent. You know, the front pillars really not obstructing your view too much. However, in the rear windshield is rather terrible. A huge blind spot behind you, which is really a problem with these muscle cars as they're styled all around performance and, you know, aggressive looks. Alright, so moving on to the rear seats. Now, in terms of headroom and legroom, I am 6 foot, and I'll tell you, with the seats all the way moved back to a position where I would sit, it's really lacking. You know, there's not really too much legroom or headroom otherwise, you know, sitting straight up, you know, head back. However, these seats are very supportive, so it would be a really comfortable car to ride, you know, say a road trip in. So one thing I just had to point out is the rear climate vents. I don't know, but I believe this is one of the only cars in the segment to have rear climate vents. It really just adds to that little bit more of making your ride that much more comfy. And yes, just another creature of comfort that's generally found in cars at this price point are map lights, as well as grab handles, as well as coat hooks. So, you know, just something that's really nice to have. You know, you may not use it, but it's there. Yes, it is somewhat cramped back here, but honestly, I think it's one of the coziest back seats you could possibly sit in. Yes, they're not leather, they're not heated or cooled or massaging seats, but you know, cloth is generally the way to go if you want long durability and somewhat of a comfortable ride. Right, so now under the hood of the Dodge Charger, and one thing I wanted to make very clear, this is Dodge's base 2.7 liter V6, generating 190 horsepower as well as 190 foot-pounds of torque. All this power and torque is mated to a 4-speed single clutch automatic transmission. All right, yes, so this is a 4-speed automatic, yes, single clutch, and fuel economy estimates are 21 city, 28 highway. So yeah, fairly long gears do hurt fuel economy considering the size of the motor. I really noticed well is the fact that this is a huge 2.7 liter V6. I believe it is a 45-degree angle V6. So it is supposed to be a compact V6, but the way Dodge has, you know, put it in here, it looks very big. Now, in the past, Chrysler's had many problems with the 2.7 liter V6, partly due to oil burning, smoking, head gasket failure, you know, stuff like that. But this one seems to be in fairly good condition. I have driven it a little bit, so nothing to worry about in this specific example. Well, we've taken an in-depth look at this 2009 Dodge Charger SXT. It's really just a weird car. A muscle car, be it, but now it's time to take it out for a drive. All right, now we're gonna take this car on a drive. So here I have the key, unlock. All right, we're gonna get in. We're actually gonna leave the door open. I wanna see what the startup is like. So foot on the brake, I'm gonna put the key in, knows the door's open, here we go. All right, 2.7 liter V6. All right, we're gonna close the door, seatbelt on. All right, into drive, here we go. All right, very light power steering right off the start, but yeah, we'll see how it takes off on the road. So this specific model has 129,000 miles, and yeah, it definitely feels like that, but you know, the transmission feels fine. It's just I think it might clunk, you know, when you set off, but you know, who knows, that could be the torque converter. So all right, so we're gonna do a little pull here. There is a low mode, so we can select the gear, so we're gonna put it in low. All right, that should be first gear. It's up at 3,000 RPM here. We're gonna roll into it. Here we go. Ooh, it sounds good. It sounds good. All right, we're slowing down now. Throttle response is excellent. With the windows down in 3rd gear, so we're turning about 1100 RPM right now. Power's building, we're in 3rd gear. Oh, it just downshifted. Power's building, it's going, keeps going, it keeps revving. Wow. All right, so we're in low mode again, you know. Oh, here we go, it's amazing. We're gonna do another pull. 1st gear, we're at 2,500. We're gonna slowly roll into it when we get to 3,000. Building, 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 snap. Wow, keeps pulling all the way up to the top. That's just awesome. So we're gonna take this corner fairly quickly. Oh, the brakes are a little bit faded, but oh, it feels good. Shifts down, 4-speed, oh, kicks down. throttle response is really good, but you know, power, yes, it does build very linearly, but you know, initial turn in, you know, it's not very good at all. But you know, even with the larger tires, you know, 10 millimeters, you know, you may notice it, you may not. Personally, I don't think you will, but it's not the best handling car. You know, it's a Charger, it's a muscle car. That's the whole idea behind it. You know, straight line speed. Really, the type of person driving this car, you know, they're gonna treat it as an economy car. You know, they're not gonna be racing it around, you know, driving it all willy-nilly. But you know, here, you know, sitting at a stoplight, you know, it's fairly livable. You don't hear any noise from the engine. Yes, you'll hear, you know, plastics rattling here and there. You know, the plastics might be outgassing, but you know, other than that, it's a really livable car. You know, a lot of people hate on these, and you know, my rule of thumb is you can't hate on it until you experience it. And I think this is really a perfect example. It's the base model. It cannot get any worse than this. Say, even just driving fairly normally, you know, shifts are very jerky. This is, you know, single clutch transmission from Dodge. But all right, so we are going to turn around here, and you'll probably notice, you know, shifts take fairly long, you know, maybe half a second or more, a second maybe too, but you know, to completely shift. But you know, in terms of steering feel, it's really vague. You know, you're not supposed to be, you know, driving this really hard around corners. You know, it is rear wheel drive, so I imagine on, you know, really slippery roads, you might be able to slide it out, you know, if it were pouring rain. But you know, it's a, you know, somewhat of a driver's car, you could say. But it's really with the Charger RT and the SRT8 is where it's at. At a stoplight with a Charger GT from apparently 2017. It's amazing what 10 years difference does. You know, after doing, you know, a hard acceleration, your foot's on the floor, as soon as you let off, it kind of hangs there. It's like rev hang in some of the modern transmissions, modern manual transmissions, that is. So you know, not exactly the most modern transmission, but it still works with 130,000 miles on the clock. All right, getting out of the Charger just after the drive. You know, it may not have the muscle car performance, but I'll tell you, what a cool body style. It's something to look at. Well, that wraps up this review. I totally enjoyed looking at this thing inside and out, getting to drive it around, do a couple pulls, you know, a rev here and there. But you know, it's still a muscle car at heart. It may not have the engine to back it up, but I still think it's one of the coolest muscle cars. I hope you enjoyed watching this review as much as I had making it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.